Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Your pale gaming news vampire is back at it again to kinda talk about the very recent and official Elder Scrolls 6 tease from Bethesda themselves. Yes, if you haven't heard about this already, I've already done 2 videos on this. No doubt there's gonna be people thinking I'm trying to milk as much content from as possible from all of this, but the thing is, I'm just hyped to finally be talking about an official tease regarding the Elder Scrolls 6, and not only that, this tease is an obvious hint that the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place in Hammerfell. But no, I'm not actually going to be really talking about this tease in particular, or breaking down anything else to do with this tease, but actually I'm going to piggyback off of all the recent speculation and talk about this Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell tease to give you what my thoughts are, what my take is on what the main story and setting of the Elder Scrolls 6 would most likely be. Now, I've talked about this before in previous videos, but since I've talked about this, there's been a lot more stuff going on in the Bethesda community, a lot more speculation based upon the Elder Scrolls 6, and obviously now we have this tease. So while everyone's focus is on this Elder Scrolls 6 official Hammerfell tease, I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on what I think the story and the setting is going to be. And obviously, yes, based upon recent speculation on this Elder Scrolls 6 tease, I do believe that the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place in Hammerfell, except personally, I think it's going to go way beyond Hammerfell, and I think that there's actually going to be multiple regions in the Elder Scrolls 6, most notably High Rock and Hammerfell, and on top of this, the Iliac Bay in between, which will allow the player to, for the first time in an Elder Scrolls game, actually control a boat or a ship or something, and sail from High Rock to Hammerfell, and maybe explore any islands in between. Kinda like, you know, how Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then the more modern Assassin's Creed games, where you can actually sail around in a boat and explore a bit as well. I believe there's going to be kind of vibes like that in the Elder Scrolls 6 as you sail in between High Rock and Hammerfell, and you'll be able to explore long-forgotten ruins, like on long-forgotten islands in the Iliac Bay, and maybe even swim underneath the water in the Elder Scrolls 6 as well, and we'll actually get one of the first water-based experiences in the Elder Scrolls 6 for the first time. And no, don't worry, I'm not saying the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be like Black Flag, to where you're going to be on a ship and exploring the water and the ocean for the majority of the time. In fact, I believe that's just going to be a small side portion of the Elder Scrolls 6 and just be like a new breath of fresh air into the franchise, into the gameplay mechanics, and give us something new for the first time in a long time. And one reason I think that that's going to happen, or I guess a better way to say it, a supporting piece of official evidence to kind of back up my theory, are statements from Todd Howard himself, where he says one of the main limiting factors that has prevented Bethesda from making the Elder Scrolls 6 is because the vision they have for this game has not been possible based on gaming technology up until now. Gaming technology has improved a lot over the last 10 years or so, even the last 5 years, even the last 2 years, and the technology to make whatever Bethesda's vision for the Elder Scrolls 6 exists now, and I believe that part of that is having multiple regions in the game, including the ship-based mechanic. And having 2 regions would actually low-key be a huge improvement and change for the series, because you'll have 2 very contrasting cultures and locations between High Rock and Hammerfell. High Rock is kind of low-key similar to Skyrim. You have high rocky mountains, but Skyrim has a lot more actual ground cover and trees, and High Rock actually doesn't have as many trees, at least in the majority of the regions of the game. It's just rolling hills with rocks and mountains and just castles and ruins, and even orcish ruins as well. The vibe in High Rock would be similar to Skyrim, but unique all on its own, and High Rock is kind of an interesting place. The culture in High Rock is unique because the Bretons there have a long feudal kind of history, to where different royal houses have different territories and are vying for more influence, vying for more territory, for more power, and magic has a very definite presence in High Rock as well. So imagine kind of a very magical Game of Thrones style vibe, combined with ancient ruins of castles and ancient orcish ruins as well, because the orcs actually have their original ancient city ruins in High Rock, because that's where the orcs are kind of from. The orcs actually used to have a lot more territory and presence in High Rock a long time ago, so we could find some of the old orcish ruins as well. And then Hammerfell is a totally different vibe, because Hammerfell has jungles, Hammerfell has deserts obviously, so we could actually actually get some Indiana Jones style vibes in Hammerfell in the Elder Scrolls 6 by exploring like long forgotten tombs, long forgotten pyramids that have been lost and buried by the sands, lost in time for a very, very long period, and no one has explored these for a long time, so who knows what kind of relics we could find. Who knows what new Daedric-like relics or artifacts we can find in these ruins. And on top of that, the culture in Hammerfell is different enough to stand out a lot from High Rock as well. So when a player goes in between High Rock and Hammerfell, not only will like the biomes and the scenery change and the architecture of the cities, but the actual culture from the different in-game races as well. And that is totally hype, because that could also change up the side quests and stuff from High Rock to Hammerfell in between the different regions, and allow there to be like more variance in the game as well. That way stuff doesn't like feel stale as you play the game. Things can switch up as you go from one region into the other region and back and forth as you get to kind of just explore more of one region, go to another region, as one quest takes you back and forth and just changes the scenery and the culture up enough for the player to make the game feel like two games in one, and just to make the game have that much replay value, because the game would just feel, like I said, two games in one. It would feel a lot less repetitive when you have two different very contrasting regions, and then the Iliac Bay, that water-based gameplay in between. Now, in regards to the main story of the Elder Scrolls 6, based upon the setting that I just described, I have the feeling that not only will there be multiple side quests, but there also will be kind of like three main quests in one. There will be a main quest in High Rock, a main quest in Hammerfell, and then a secret ending to the main quest that'll pop up at the end, and you'll have to do both the main quest for High Rock and Hammerfell in order to get the like secret ending or the real ending to the game. And the reason I say this will have to kind of like involve me giving you a little bit more information into what I think the setting of the Elder Scrolls 6 will be, and I kind of went into some of this in yesterday's video. If you haven't watched my last two videos breaking down the official Elder Scrolls 6 tease Bethesda gave us, I highly suggest you watch these other two videos. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to them down in the description below, as well as pop-up links to them here on screen as well. If you haven't watched those videos, I highly suggest you watch those before going forward with this one. You can pause the video, don't worry, I'll wait. I'm tired of waiting. Hopefully you've watched it. But either way, like I said, I believe the game will take place in High Rock Hammerfell, but also I believe the game will take place after the events of Skyrim, when the High Elves of Thalmor are still doing their invasion of Tamriel, and the Empire is more or less like really in ruins almost, and has kind of fallen back and is kind of contained within the borders of Cyrodiil, meaning every country is kind of like its own country now. Elsewhere is its own country, Morrowind is its own country, High Rock, Hammerfell, every nation, every race is its own race, and High Rock and Hammerfell are actually being invaded right now by the Thalmor. If you don't know, during the Great War, during the events of Skyrim, right before the events of Skyrim, the Thalmor actually invaded Hammerfell, but were defeated. So I believe the Thalmor are definitely going to invade Hammerfell again, and that's what we're going to be seeing in the Elder Scrolls 6. We're probably going to be helping out Hammerfell to defeat the Thalmor invasion again, and maybe there will be kind of like a situation going on in Hammerfell where we have to help the royal family rebuild their control over the region, and maybe do a bunch of like ruin diving into ancient ruins, into pyramids, into stuff like that in Hammerfell to try to find relics to help the royal Hammerfell family defeat the Thalmor as well. And the High Elves will actually be using their invasion in the Hammerfell to kind of like cover up their low-key new operation, kind of like more insidious operation, kind of like a shadow operation, if you will, going down in High Rock, because you'll discover that the Thalmor actually do have a presence in High Rock as well, only they don't want their presence in High Rock to be discovered, because the main story of the game is actually that, yes, the High Elves, the Thalmor, are invading High Rock and Hammerfell, and High Rock and Hammerfell have their own main quests, and High Rock's main quest is kind of similar to Hammerfell, where it's kind of like a Game of Thrones thing, where you pick a royal family, a faction, that you kind of build up to take over and be the main ruling faction over High Rock. But also on top of all this, you discover that the Thalmor are actually in High Rock because they want to destroy the Tower of Ur, the Adamantite Tower, because they believe that if they destroy this ancient relic, this ancient ruin, which was was around way before like recorded history when the creators of Nirn actually walked on Nirn's surface. The Thalmor believe if they destroy the Adamantite Tower that it will thrust Nirn and Tamriel and all of existence back into like a time period before space and time actually fully existed, back when the High Elves were closer to their ancestors who were actually like direct descendants from the Aedra and the Daedra, from the original spirits known as the Et Ada, basically demigods that had their hands in creating the universe that we know in Tamriel. And they believe by destroying this tower, it'll basically bring them back to the time when literally time and space doesn't like quite exist as we know it today, or at least as people in Tamriel know it in the time period of the Elder Scrolls 6 and Skyrim and most of history. And they believe that they'll get all of their god powers back by doing so, and this kind of seems like the exact type of thing that the current generation Thalmor might do, because they believe that the High Elves are actual literal gods above all the other like creatures, all the other races on Nirn, because they are, or at least they believe they're direct descendants of the Et Ada, the original spirits, and they no doubt want to go back to like the time period to when they had a lot more power. And this kind of reckless behavior just totally seems like what the Thalmor might do, or at least what the Thalmor during the time period of Skyrim might do, because they obviously think they're better than everyone. Just listen to what they say during the time period of Skyrim. When you play Skyrim and you talk to Thalmor, when you talk to the High Elves who are underneath the Eldmeri Dominion, they basically exactly tell you they believe that they think they're better than everyone. And I believe we're going to see a continuation of this, and ultimately like the ending to this Thalmor plotline to what we saw begin in Skyrim in the Elder Scrolls 6, and it will take place in High Rock in Hammerfell. And by defending Hammerfell from the High Elves and helping Hammerfell and High Rock find peace and find like a organized like royal family for each individual nation, by getting involved in all this, we'll also discover the Thalmor's main goal of destroying the Adamantite Tower, and hopefully we'll probably be able to stop them from doing that in some kind of big epic battle between all the allies you just gathered and the most powerful mages of the Thalmor, and maybe even the leaders of the Thalmor themselves. And by destroying them, we can actually hopefully bring a lot of peace to Nirn, to Tamriel in the times that come, because the Thalmor seem to be like the main focus of a lot of civil distress right now, and a lot of civil unrest as well, because as Skyrim showed us, they kind of just caused a lot of problems in the Empire, in Tamriel, by almost defeating the Empire, which I believe will lead to the events of how the Elder Scrolls 6 is, to where the Empire is mostly just destroyed and in Cyrodiil. And that's what I believe the main setting and story of the Elder Scrolls 6 will be, and I believe that the recent tease from Bethesda over here on Twitter helps support all of this. Like I said, sorry if this video isn't like as organized. I'm kind of stressed over my pet potentially passing away, so I still wanted to bring you guys this content, and this video was planned for today. But either way, hopefully you guys can understand what my thoughts are on what the Elder Scrolls 6 setting and story might be. I know that the Elder Scrolls 6 lore is kind of crazy, so I try to explain it as low-key easy to digest as possible for those who aren't like as in the know in the lore as I am, or as some people might be. But that's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. Let me know what you think about my theory on the Elder Scrolls 6's main story and setting down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share this video, because sharing content is the best way to help grow a channel and a community. And for some reason, my channel is growing slower than usual because YouTube isn't notifying all subscribers of my new uploads. YouTube isn't showing my content to people who aren't subscribed. The algorithm doesn't like me for some reason, so my channel is growing kind of slow. So if you want to actually share the video, share the channel, make sure you're subscribed, and get other people to subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, huge shout out to these amazing people for going above and beyond to bring you content like this. If you want to get your name added to this list and get a shout out on every single one of my future videos, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when Bethesda was just teasing that candles will be in the Elder Scrolls 6. That's all that this tease was. That's it. Nothing else.
It just works.